So they're dying rolls at 3s. Don't mind if you hit once or twice. Actually, I do. I really wouldn't want you to hit me twice. Okay. Oh. Everyone's got a plan to get smacked in the mouth. Okay, welcome back to video number 2, turn number 2 of our Axis and Allies Stalingrad playthrough. We're going to be shortcutting through many of the sections in here, including maybe some of the dice rolls as well, because you don't need to see all the shilly-shally ones or my thinking, lack of thinking. To that end, we have gone through card number 1, or rather ignored card number 1, and card number 2 for the reinforcements. We got 3 RPCs for Germany, for holding Bolshoi up there, Serafimovich, and Kletskaya. I've actually started off a small phonetic crib sheet to how we try and pronounce these ones, because I want to get them right. It sounds more professional than some old fool bumbling through his words. So, apart from that, with the RPCs, we got 1 infantry on even number rounds. We've put him into Perelazovsky, and I've started thinking about my movements ahead of time, and as a quick overview of what we're going to be doing, I am worried about this place up here, Venishskaya. As mentioned before, what was the value of moving into that? We got absolutely pounded, didn't do enough damage, and if I move units into there, say from Serafimovich, I got the idea that the river bonus that the defenders get from there is just going to make their defence even stronger. So I can't see the point in actually moving stuff into there. We're also going to be moving guys around here from Zimovsky. I think they're going to be going into Kotluban. Kotluban's going to be going into Rhynok. The guys here in Akimovsky, they're going into Kotluban and I think Vertiachi. And I think the guys here from Novomoskovich are going to be going into Bazinovka. Down here, slightly more complicated. The guys here in Verkhikumsky are going to go into Grozmoslavka. 2 guys into Abganarova Station, and 2 of these Stugs are going to go into there as well from Tinguta. The hope is the guys from Tinguta that are unsupplied, well, okay, that doesn't actually count until we're actually in combat, are going to go into Beketovka, and an unsupplied battle into there. We hope, and this is my thinking, they go into there, they knock out these 2 guys, it puts the Soviets out of supply down here. I can't sort of see a supply line being traced for them. But because these guys are going to be knocked down a little bit, we're going to put some air into here. A couple of bombers, I think. Also into Veriachi. And a couple of planes. I'm going to put these over onto the city board. I'm thinking that I would probably put both of them versus the one going to the Barakadi factory, because obviously there's an infantry guy onto there, and that would be more expensive a loss if it's successful when we start rolling the dice. So let me get everything set up and do all the moves, get myself sat down, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, got all my movements done now for the Axis forces. We can get on to card number 4, Allied Reaction, which is the anti-aircraft capabilities being fired up by their artillery pieces. It's just 2 shots they got from them. One from this artillery piece in Krasnaya Slaboda. Keep getting me B's and me D's backwards. And one from the silicon factory can shoot backwards up to here and try and knock out these 2 planes before they attack this bridge. They roll dice in at 1s. 1 dice each. And miss entirely. And so that was the end of card number 4. Card number 5 is this Axis attack and the relocating air units. I haven't actually got my head fully around the wording or the concept of it. I think it's the bombers could fly in, as they didn't do, into Tinguta in the first round, and put a supply in with the unsupplied guys. I figure that supplies are actually going to be worth their weight in gold later on in the game. So I'm holding on to them. But I think it's if the bombers would drop their supplies now and then fly back on this stage. But we're using them to attack in there. But we'll do that one in a minute. Jumping all over the place. We're going to start off with the attack over here because it's furthest away. Now I can sit myself down because my legs are a bit tired today. So we've got these two fighters in here trying to attack this one ferry. They rolled in their dice at 3s. Get the thing down where we can see it. See if we can cause some financial... Oh, snake eyes. We have wiped that ferry out and the guy, no problem at all. That's going to cost, I think it's 4 RPCs for the Soviets to come back from. So we're happy enough with that. That's a good result. Let me start off getting these guys on the board in Beketovka, I think it is. And I'll see you over there. Okay, this is the battle into Beketovka, and I've committed a bit of a faux pas here, but I've set everything up. I'm not going to change it around now. I was thinking these guys are unsupplied because we haven't got Abganova Station all in supply. But if I make the attack here into Bazinovka, these guys here have just walked into here, so I guess it's an assault, but it's a successful assault. They will take over this place. We're now in supply. So I believe I can change my battle board around that I had set up there for these guys being out of supply. We're just going to smash those two Soviet guys to smithereens. Smish to smithereens they're going to be. So I believe I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice, all rolling in at 3s. Some tanks and on high. And we've scored 2 hits out of that with those 2s. Those guys are lost and gone. They will get a dice each at 2s. And score 2 hits. The Soviet dice are hot. That's really annoying. So we're going to have to lose an expensive tank with our artillery piece. These 2 guys here are lost as well. That will, though, I believe, change the status of these guys here in Abganarova. I was saying it better earlier on. Abganarova Station, because I can't see a supply line coming in now for the Soviet forces. That's going to change the weight of that battle mightily. Let me just double check on my thinking. I'll see you with that battle in a sec. Okay, the battle into Abganarova Station. I thought it looked a bit stronger for Germany at first, but I was forgetting that the Stugs only go in at 2s rather than 3s that the tanks do. We've got an artillery piece in there as well, so we can start this battle off full of hope. With the 2 Stugs, because they can target those tanks at 2s and both missing, and the 1 artillery piece going in at a 2 on its own. It misses, and we've only got, now, 5 dice at 1s. Oh, Germany. Germany. Hat full of misses. I'm disappointed with that. I think we should have had better rolls than that overall. So I'm going to cheat and turn the dice over. No, I'm not. We've now got our 2 tanks in reply at 2s from these 2 there. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. Infantry artilleries. So at 2s by the Soviets, nothing happened, and now 5 dice from the infantry artilleries, all at 1s. Nothing happened. Don't watch that part of the video. Oh, what I forgot to mention was before we get going, may I mention that I make these videos in aid of a charity called Cure Parkinson's. You can guess what they're trying to do. There is a link to them below this video, one in the About section on the channel page. If you happen to have a spare, $1, Euro Yak or British pound you can send to them, I'm sure that they'll appreciate it. That's something more interesting than that battle. Let's have a look at Grozmoslavka next. This is the battle from Gromoslavka. The 1 Soviet supporter here, I don't think has got any supply line that I can see, so I believe he's unsupplied. He's going to go down onto the 1 register on our battle board, just up here. And everyone here's got a supply line coming across the Don River easily for them. So, can we have a few more hits, please, Mr. Dice Gods? We're going to roll 1 dice at 2 for the artillery piece from Germany. It misses. And 4 dice at 1s for their infantry. Oh dear. Yeah, it's going to be another one of those battles. And 1 dice at 1 in reply by the Sovs, who misses as well. 2 battles, no hit, nada, yet. I'm going to look at the battle into Kalach next. Okay, this is the battle into Kalach. One thing I wanted to mention, when I've been moving these guys backwards and forwards because they've done nothing in those last 2 attacks, it did occur to me that this board is very well proportioned in terms of the sizes of the territories and the numbers of units you're putting in. I haven't yet got an area that's been really crammed like you get, say, in 1914, or wasted space that you get in the big global games. Everything here seems to be used. I'm really pleased with that. Let's just start rolling some dice at this battle. For the Germany, we have got 3 tanks rolling in there, all at 3s, and 1 lowly T-34 trying to hold his end up. Yeah, these dice have gone cold. An artillery piece at 2. Come on, somebody hit something. Nope. And 2 mechs at 1. This is like being in the trenches. Nope. And 1 T-34 replying at 3. Give me something to be excited about. Hooray! Sort of. We've got 1 casualty from, well, 3 battles now. Okay, next one I guess is going to be the assault into Vertiaci. I think this is possibly going to be a supplied attack and supplied defence. If Rhinoc falls, I believe this guy drops out of supply, provided they survive later on. Because I don't think I can get into the city and back out again. I believe it's just this line here that can supply these guys here later on. But I have to double check all that in a minute. And whilst I was putting things on the board again, something I realised, I mentioned in the first video that I thought this battle board's been done backwards. I didn't see why you had the higher register at this end. I think it's because when you're assaulting, as we are in this case here, we fly our bombers in first. It stops you from rolling your stuff in lower to higher order. These are the guys that go in first. They're going to drop in 2 bombs at 3. Try and knock out those 2 Soviet infantry. They have done. Clean hits. Nice. So no need to roll everybody else in the battle apart from the Soviet reply. 2 dice at 2s. And misses. So that is a big success here for the German forces into Vertiaci. I'll look at Rhinoc next. I won't bother moving all the units onto the battle board for this attack into Rhinoc. It's overwhelming odds. We're going to smash them, we think. I've said that before. 1 Soviet tank, 1 German tank rolls in at a 3, misses. We have 4 dice at 2 from the artillery and the Stug that's in there. And we have got 1 hit out of it. That's all we need to do because there's only 1 artillery piece in reply from the Soviets. Who can pop in a bomb and misses. That's it, job done. Let's have a look at the one into Kremenskaya next. So the battle into Kremenskaya just up here is, I think, one where Germany wouldn't mind if the dice stayed cold on both sides. It's a little bit dodgy up north. I got my ideas entirely wrong up there. We've got 2 Stugs that are going to roll in on the black dice at 2 and an infantry at 1s. Hey, look at that. Nice. Those 2 guys are kaput. So, Soviet guys rolling in at 2s in defence. Wow. Okay, we're happy with those dice getting hot again. Changed my mind like I changed my trousers. So, let me put it back on the board and we'll look at the last battle for Germany, which will be in Vyshchenskaya. Okay, battle into Vyshchenskaya. I think looking at the board here, if Germany come out with this battle with anything proudly, they'll be hanging on to their lucky socks, that's for sure. We've got 3 dice at 1s. Oh, we got a hit. Okay, that's a little bit of compensation, I suppose we'd say. So we're going to have 5 dice coming back at them, all at 2s. And just the one casualty from there as well. It's been cold dice day today, so we're going to lose one from this side and one from that side. That, I believe, is the end of all the battling on the board. I'll see you in a mo. Okay, I'm back. It's card number 6, the Axis air landings. I've looked through a few more cards, getting ourselves ahead of the game here, but I wanted to point something out to you, a mistake that I think I made from the Axis landing on the turn number 1. I think I just threw all the planes back into Tatsinskaya. There's an airport limit of 4 air units, and I think that's why the game starts off with the 4 bombers here in Tatsinskaya and the 2 fighters in Oblivinskaya. So that, I think, is something to highlight and look out for. It's not important at this stage of the game, but it might be more important later on if we get more air units farther forward, provided everyone survives. So the next thing we do is the Allied counter-offensive. Doesn't start this card until round number 3. That can be ignored. And our hero workers of Stalingrad produce just one nice artillery piece, which goes into the Birkenhead factory just up there. That one's done. Then we go on to the reinforcements. Pre-thought those already. We've got ourselves one ferry to replace the one that those nasty Germans blew up last time, and a couple of infantry, a couple of artillery. I'm pretty sure they're going to be scattered around everywhere rather than going up into Veshinskaya up there where we had that big battle, because I think the Germans aren't sort of particularly aggressive up there. We don't need to overstack that place, but I see what I can put and where I can put them. And I bought this out as a supply token. I've got more of an idea now of how these supplies are intended to be used. It should be on that one there. What I think I'll be doing is taking this supply, and we can put this directly into the airfield. This bombist can take the supply over to Abgana Rover Station, where we've got an unsupplied unit in. I think all our Soviet guys here are unsupplied because of Rhinoc being taken, and no other exits we can get out for these guys down here anyway, unsupplied. And if we can get a supply in here for this battle, we might be able to keep these guys alive just for a little bit longer. We'll see how it goes, but at least it'll just be a bit of a pest for the Germans there anyway. So let me do all those bits and pieces now, and I'll come back to you once I've moved everybody on the city board up towards more of the northern and northwestern edges, because this is the way the Germans are coming from Rhinoc and Veritiaci. I'll see you in a bit though. Okay, so I finished all the Allied movement, and the guys have spread themselves around the north of the city and down towards the south of the city, heading towards, if not getting into, some more of these ambush sites. I think they're going to be quite valuable coming up. And there's an assault token that shouldn't be there. That's left over from last time, I think. We've got a couple of guys into Krasnaya Sloboda, and put those onto the bridges straight away, try and get them across into the city. Hopefully they won't get blown up by the Germans again. But we have now got 3 artillery pieces in there, so I think Germany might be a bit shy of doing that. And over on the region board, I have decided to make an attack from Krasnomirsk into Biketovka, because I think we've got enough guys in here. We've got a couple of artillery, a couple of infantry, and we can get one of the fighters involved in that battle. I was going to use the fighter to go along with the battle into Abgana Rover Station, but I'm just taking the aircraft with the bomber into here as the supply drop, which according to the rules means I can take 1 token in there if it's friendly or contested, and then return to an airfield in the landing phase, which will be afterwards. So I believe that's the only unit that's actually going to be vulnerable to the Axis fire, which is on card number 11. So I'll slide my dice tray into shot here, and just try to knock it out as far as the Germans are concerned with a roll of a 1. And we don't do it. So that's the end of that little part of it. Card number 12 is going to be the Allied attack phase. So I'll just choose one of these battles first to start off with, and I'll come back to you in a second when it's all onto the battle board. So the first battle we got is into Veshtcheniskaya. We've got a couple of dice for the Soviet artillery, which will be at 2s on the black dice, and on the brown dice we've got the 2 guys at 1, infantry guys, hoping to not get their heads blown off. So we've got a hit from one of the twos and nothing else from that. So one of those German guys is going to be taken. They both roll back at twos. Just two black dice, although between black and brown it's quite hard to decide. There we go, they both missed it anyway. So one of these guys is going to go. That battle will continue its running on and on. So I'll get it back on the board, and I probably think about doing a, well, very short battle, I should imagine, in Kalach. Okay, the battle into Kalach looks like this. I won't bother putting the units onto the battle board. We've got our one Soviet tank unsupplied, rolling in at a 2 and scoring a hit. Ooh, nice, we like that. And then we've got the reply roll from Germany. 3 of the Panzer III tanks at 3s, and they've knocked out that Soviet guy. That's the end of that battle. One casualty from Germany. I think will be the maybe it'd be the artillery. No, it's going to be the mech. That's gone from there. Decision made. We look at the one into Gromoslavka. Okay, the Allied attack into Gromoslavka looks even worse than it did in Kalach, because our one infantry guy has got a 0 roll. An attack with nothing, that's all he can do. And in reply comes back 5 big booming dice, all at 2, for the Axis aligned minor power forces, Hungarian, Italian. Goodbye, sir. Pick up the pieces from the scrap bin, I think, for that one. So that's all done there. Let me just flick the dice around and everything. I'll look at the Abganarova station attack properly on the board in a second. Okay, so the Abganarova station battle looks like this. I was toying with the idea of perhaps not even spending that supply. If you drop a supply token and you don't have to use it, you can go in unsupplied. But I think it would be wasted in this case if we didn't do that. So we're going to go in. Yeah, okay, we get better numbers if we're the defenders, but I think it's the better choice. So our 2 tanks, our glorious T-34s, are going to roll in at 3s and score 1 hit. It's a good start. We have 2 artillery pieces going in at 2s. Nada. And there's 3 infantry guys there. 3 infantry guys there defending, or attacking rather, at 1s. Yeah, okay, maybe that was a waste of a supply. But we live in hope. So, in reply from that, these 2 Stugs that can target tanks, hold your breath, gird your loins, at 3s, knock out one of the tanks. Eek. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more dice coming back to them with infantry, artillery, mechanised infantry, Uncle Tom, Cobley and all. And just 1 more hit from those guys. Okay, I'm annoyed about losing that tank and only doing 1 damage on the one minor axis supporting infantry guy that's there. But that is the way the leper crumbles sometimes. That'll be it for Abganarova Station. We'll try and get this battle into Beketovka next. Yeah, I was just second guessing the order of attacks I chose to make them in just then. I should probably have made the attack into Beketovka first, because that would have maybe released the supply line into Abganarova Station. But then it would have left a supply lying around there that the Germans could pick up potentially later on. I don't think it actually moved supplies, but it would have been available to them and we wouldn't have wanted it perhaps. Yeah, I think in reflection I should have done that attack first, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So we get our dice in front of us. We have got the 1 fajita that rolls in at a 3. Scores a hit. Nice. Now we've got our 2 artillery pieces at 2s. Wow, we've just knocked out a couple of panzers. Lovely. So their dying rolls at 3s. Don't mind if you hit once or twice. Actually, I do. I really wouldn't want you to hit me twice. Okay. Oh. Everyone's got a plan until you get smacked in the mouth. Was that a Mike Tyson thing or something from years gone by? Yep, okay. I'm getting too far ahead of myself there. But we have retaken our Beketovka region. So I'm fairly happy with that. Let me have a little look around the board 1 second. I think that's all we have to do now. And I believe it's just that Soviet plane will now fly home, and it's probably going to take us through to the end of the round. So I'll be able to fit, I think, a second turn into this video. I'll see you in a sec. Okay, just tidying up from the end of turn number 2. There was one Allied attack that I didn't roll out. That was the Katusha up there in Ilovinska, firing its rockets into Kremenskaya, just over here. It does clearly say on the card that you roll your rockets and your bombardments go in first. It says in the book that your Katyushas fire first. I just completely forgot. And because it's only 1 dice, I didn't bother recording it because it's just 1 dice at 1. And guess what? It scored a hit. It took out the 1 infantry guy here in Kremenskaya. So both of those markers can come off the board now. And I think that puts the Katyushas at 2 for 2 for the ones that have actually had a shot. I was quite pleased with that. So, weather roll doesn't happen on the start of turn number 3, not until turn number 6. In turn number 2, the German forces get a supply token that goes into Tatsinskaya, just down here, and they get 3 RPs having Bolshoi, Serafimovich, and Kremenskaya. The one in Kletskaya, they don't get. You've got to have a guy in there to be able to round up the bits and bobs and take an RP for that. It's a real hamstringing effect, and I like the way it's doing it. We have to leave more guys behind. I have to think about that when it comes up to the Axis movement, which is card number 3, coming up shortly when I've decided where they're going to go. But I'll see you at the start of either the German combat or the Allied reaction. Okay, we've got all the Axis movements done now. We spread ourselves around on that northern area up here, Bolshoi, Serafimovich and Kremenskaya, making sure we get that 1 RP zone of Kletskaya. We sort of shuffled across this way into Kutuluban and Rhynok, and I've left my Don't Be a Dumbass tokens on the board. Get those ones out of the way. And we've made an advance into the city as well. Remembering to double up our infantry and mechanized infantry. We've got a nice little, it's a really nice multiplier. It's got a force multiplier. There's me waffling. It's got a force multiplier. It's really great because suddenly what looked like a bit of a wishy-washy, weak rabble roaming in is suddenly a much bigger force. Yep, I like force multipliers, and I have gone against my initial early thought with Germany. We are going to risk a couple of bombers going against these bridges. There are 3 artillery pieces in there, so I believe we have to assign which dice go to which. I don't think it particularly matters on this occasion, simply because we have 1 Soviet infantry on each of those bridges, but we have to know who's attacking which dice. So let me just turn over to card number 4, which is the Allied reaction, and we fire those artillery pieces off straight away. 5 dice tray into place. And if we go for 2 at 1 bridge with 2 dice, you say it's the Barricade Factory bridge and miss the plane, nice. And then 1 dice down into, what do we call this one? Pavlov's House bridge. Ooh, clipped its wing, but it survives. So that is the card number 4 Allies reaction card all done. And we can look at the card number 5 for the relocating aliens land and conduct 1 round of combat in each contested zone. So, let me just look at this board over here and I'll look at which people are unsupplied. 1 second. So just for a moment there, I was falling into thinking that these Soviet guys in here are unsupplied, but they got to take the supply line back out through Beketova, through Krasnomirsk, and out that way. So even though there are Germans in here and it's a contested region, these guys are still supplied. I don't think the order of combat matters too much, apart from perhaps doing this one first to put these guys out of supply. So let's start off with this attack into Beketovka. Beketovka begins with two Axis artillery pieces, or Stugs should we say, rolling in at 2s, scoring 1 hit, and then their 2 infantry rolling in at 1s. Oh, nice! We're going to take those 2 guys out. They get reply rolls at 2. 2 brown dice for the Soviet artillery pieces. And they score 1 hit. Okay. Germany got the better of that attack. Let me just tidy that up on the board and adjust that supply. Nice. Yep, the unsupplied Soviet units in there got their backs to the walls. We're going to roll in a couple of fighter planes first. They roll in at 3s, strafing those ground units. And missing. We have got 3 dice, but 2 of them are going to be for the Stugs that can target that tank. At 3s, they've hit the tank. Ooh, goodbye T-34. 1 artillery piece left in there. That can roll in a 2 as well. And that misses. And we've got 5 in total here. There's 3 mech and 2 the ancillary forces in there. So we've got 3 dice for 5 dice. All at once. Scoring 1 more hit. So that's pretty good. Wouldn't mind you wiping out the Sovs in there, but you can't have money and good looks. That's why I got no money. We've got 1 tank replying at a 2. Missing, and 1, 2, 3, 4 dice now. For this, we use their brown dice. 4 dice for the Soviet infantry artillery combinations, unsupplied. And scoring just 1 hit back. Goodbye to one of our supporting infantry guys. That is the Abganarova station sorted. I'll probably look at the Pitomnik one next. Okay, the battle for Pitomnik looks like this on the board. We can roll in our 2 bombists at 3s and score 1 hit. And we got 3 tankens that are at 3s as well. Scoring no hits, that's disappointing. And 1 artillery piece going in at a 2. It scores a hit. I thought we weren't going to make that then. It's now what casualties come back of this, because these 2 guys are in a fortified zone. They get bumped up to 3s. So 2 dice at 3s for the Soviets. And even 1 bit of damage would be minor expensive. 2 bits of damage would be... Oh, giddy up, done it again. Oh, that's an artillery and a tank that gets lost from there. Well done, guys. I mean, yeah, it wasn't odds on, but yeah, that was a fractional overall, I suppose you would say, for the Soviet forces. Okay, the last attack on the region board, I think that we have to do, will be up there in Vishenskaya. It's going to be a quick one, so I won't bother actually putting them onto the board. I'll just see you in a sec. Vishenskaya, we've done it in a trice with the 1 German artillery piece rolling in at 2s and missing, and 4 dice coming back at them from infantry and artillery at 2s and smashing the artillery out of the way. Okay, on to the city board next. Let me just move you out of the way rather rudely, sticking an elbow in your side, because you're standing where I want to be. So we got a couple of airplanes attacking. We got this 1 plane here attacking this bridge into Pavlov's house, and 1 plane up there attacking the Barricade factory. So 2 dice at 3s, but we've got to nominate the bridges, I suppose, first. So into Pavlov's house. Knock the bridge out, and the 1 into Barricade factory. We miss. So bridge is gone, guy is gone. Well done, you guys. I get the battle up there into Orlovka first with our doubled up infantry, mechanized infantry and regular infantry. We should get a bit of a good battle up there, I'm hoping. Okay, before we do the battle into Orlovka, I don't think I explained at all what we were doing with our forces up there in the north of the city. We took 1 of the tanks from Orlovka, made a right turn, Clyde, through Veritiachi into Stalingrad, Orlovka attack, because it was a little bit weak up there. Even though those infantry artillery had their force multiplier, we only had 1 artillery with them. We didn't think that was enough. So the tank went through 2 spaces and the rest of them, the main thrust that came through from Rhinoc, and I think there might have been a tank which moved a couple of spaces from Kutluban into this Mecheka ravine attack. We're going to the weaker place first rather than Spartanovka, because we can get into these RP places, which every one we can take from there is one away from the Soviets. That's the thinking up there. So let's start moving this dice tray into place and roll in the 1 Panzer tank. I'll be in shot a little bit. 1 Panzer tank out of 3. Scores a hit. Nice. We've got the 1 artillery piece out of 2. Oh, we are hot. We are hot. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys all at once. Come on, big roll. Germany need a big roll this time. Oh, 2 more hits. Nice. Actually, that's the only 4 pieces in there. I wasn't expecting to do this. Excited. We have got 4 guys here. They're all in a fortified area. Normally they'd be defending supplied at 2. They've got defence at 3. See if the Sovs can roll 4 misses. Oh, it's only 2 hits. We'll take that. We will definitely take that. I'm chuffed to bits with that. Next one will be the Mecheka ravine attack. Okay, this is the attack into the Mecheka ravine, and not just because of that last attack being so exciting for me. I do quite like this force multiplier effect that they brought into it. It gives you a feeling of acceleration as you go from the larger region into the smaller city. Great idea. It's really, I thought it was good at first, but it's really grown on me now. So as we got 4 dice at 2s, which would be all on these black dice. It's artillery and it's the Stug, and it's knocked that guy out without using the mechs. And the 1 guy in reply at a 2 misses. So Germany are strong in the north of the city now. I believe that's the end of all the Axis attacks, and it'll just be the landing phase, and then we get over onto the Sovs. Let me just tidy everything up there, and I'll see you on the Soviets reply half of the round. Okay, before we get on with this card number 7 on turn number 3, I just want to flick back to the message I put up for the attack into Pitomnik by the Axis forces. The Allies weren't supplied in there. As it was, the dice cards were our way, and the result was exactly the same as it should have been. But the Allied forces were not supplied in Pitomnik. I think my attention was so much drawn to the Abgana Rover Station supply issues that we had that I just did not see that. Now, I'm not making any kind of wishy-washy excuses. It's just to highlight that the importance of checking and double-checking and having eyes in the back of your trousers. So enough of that. Let's get on with the cards now properly. In card number 7, at round number 3, we can start drawing a couple of these Operation Uranus cards. One goes to the north and one goes to the eastern side. So I've got these cards. They have been shuffled once. I'll shuffle them again, doubly sure. And I can choose 2 cards and I can choose where to put them. But we've got a couple of tanks and a rocket launcher on 1 card. We've got infantry, rocket launcher, fighter and supply token. I'm a little bit worried about putting the fighters too far forward. And the northern areas have got the 2 forward air bases. So I think for now, they're supposed to go upside down so the German player can't see them. So I just close my eyes when I'm playing as Germany. I'm going to put the one with the fighter, Doonsuth, and the 2 tanks, rocket launcher up north. Coming ploughing down from the top could be a great idea for the Soviets later on, should we still be alive at that point in time. So I just stick them top and bottom, and we can sort those out later on. So we get on to card number 8, Hero Workers of Stalingrad, and we get 1 more tanken, which is going to go into the tractor factory up there, where they make the Massey Fergusons. That reaches up into there. And then I can also, as I have done slightly, preempted the cards for the reinforcements. We are getting just the 16 RPs this time, which isn't too shabby a number. We're going to get ourselves a replacement ferry, again, not a bridge as I keep seeming to call them. And that ferry cost us 1. We have 2 supply tokens, which cost us 3, 6, 9, 12, and then 16 with our artillery piece. I'm going to be putting most of those infantry, if not all of them, into Kresnaya Sloboda, simply because the German rush forward has got me slightly worried. I don't think I'm going to need to put anything up into Veshenskaya, as I did do before, but as you might be able to see as well, I've preempted some of the Soviet movements as well. We're going to be coming forward from there. We think that cutting off those 1s and 2 RPs that the Germans are getting up in Serafimovich and Kremeskaya is probably going to be the best way of doing it. And I'm thinking about leaving one of those infantry guys here behind just to support the Katusha from a counterattack from these guys from Sibovsky. There was a secondary thought coming from Ilovinska into Kutluban to trying to work our way into cutting off the German supplies, but they're too rich down here. They are far too rich. I think it's just going to be a spoiler attacks up there, maybe to try to deflect some of those German forces to go back towards us rather than keep coming into our city. So let me just do all those movements first, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, we've finished all the Allied movements now, and we've made a kind of a defensive ring up there on the north edge of the city, trying to protect our factories, getting a free artillery and a free tank on opposite turns. That could be our saviour in time to come, and we don't actually look too weak up there compared to how the Germans are right at this moment, but I don't want to come forward and start attacking them. I think we are stronger in defence than we are in attack, and I'm trying to get ourselves into a few limited places. I mean, we've got a couple of guys here in Gorodishka and the guy into the silicate factory trying to slow down the speed of this advance, but I'm going to be giving up, I think, on Skolpturny Park and the Red October Workers' Settlement. Just for the moment, we're going to be concentrating our forces into the important areas like the high ground at Mamayev Kurgan. But we are still a little bit short of guys here. We're hoping that the guys on the ferry bridges can come over, and hopefully the strength of numbers that we've got down here from the Pitomnik advance will be enough to prevent these 2 tanks coming through. We've got 3 infantry guys in here. These guys are right on the doorstep. Bekharovka can go in there too, but we have moved these guys up from Sasa, Lake Sarpa, and Lake Sarpa into Krasnomayak to threaten Bekhatovka. I'm hoping that's the right way of doing it, but we can now start rolling some dice back at this game again. Let me just move you over a little bit, so more in the middle, and grab me dice tray. Because the first one we're going to be doing is the Axis reaction, which is this 1 artillery piece firing up at this plane, again trying to deliver supplies to these guys here, fighting valiantly in Abganarova Station. So the 1 German artillery firing its anti-aircraft directions. It teased us, but it's only a 4. So that nothing happened there. We can flip over to the next card, which will be the Allied attack, and we might as well stick with where we are in Abganarova Station. I'll get it on the board and see you there. Okay, I was just about to do the attack into the Abganarova Station, realising that I hadn't fired my Katusha, got to do that one first, and then realising up there that I'd moved this 1 infantry guy forward. He's not going forward, he's waiting there to look after this Katusha. So let's roll his attack in first. It is going to be firing into Kremenskaya. See if we can hit anything on a 1. So far we are 2 for 2, if I remember rightly. Can we be 3 for 3? We can't. Never mind. So that can be ignored. This is the attack into Abganarova Station now. We have got, for the Soviets, 2 guys with their artillery pieces rolling in at 2. Scoring 1 hit. Nice. And 1 guy at 1, the lonely infantry guy, missing. But 1 hit on the Germans nonetheless. That's probably going to be taken on that minor infantry guy. So in reply, hold on to your socks. There's a pair of Stugs coming your way. Missing. We're now going to have 3 mech and 1 artillery and that 1 infantry guy. That's 5 dice at 2. and scoring 2 hits out of that. So Abgana Rover Station stands up for a little bit longer, but it's likely to be a valiant defence, all in a dying cause. Next up, I suspect we're going to be looking at Kremenskaya. Okay, this is the attack into Kremenskaya. There are 2 assault tokens on there. We come from 2 different directions. We don't get a flanking bonus like we do in North Africa, but they are getting a bonus to German guys for defending on the opposite side of the Don, which is unfrozed. So, our one glorious T-34 is going to roll in at a 3 and miss. Our glorious artillery, for the glory of the Red Army, is going to miss. Let's stop being so glorious and use 4 sensible brown dice at ones for the infantry and mechs. Just the 1 hit. Slightly disappointing that. I would have hoped for more. So the 1 German Stug at a 4 nonetheless can target our glorious T-34s. Oh, it missed. It missed. It must have been hull down in a ditch. And the infantry piece goes in at a 3. His dying roll, he misses as well. I rather think that the Soviets got away with that one. I think they were looking at getting 2 hits done to them. Yeah, happy enough with that for a Soviet side. Next up would be the very small defence by Germany in Serafimovich, just up there. I'll do it as a dice attack rather than moving the guys around. So the Serafimovich attack looks a little bit like this. 1 fighter is going to drop his machine guns down at a 3 and knocks out that 1 guy ducking in the reedy bushes. No need to roll the rest of those dice. We can roll the guy's defensive roll though. Again, he's being attacked from across the Don. He gets to defend at a 3 and he scores a hit as well. So it's one of those Soviets will go and Serafimovich will fall back into Soviet control. I do realise that those Soviet guys may be cut off if Germany goes up from Bolshoi into Veshinskaya, but I'm hoping that the Germans aren't going to do that because their line is so flimsy around here. But we have to see what Germany decide. I can't speak for them just yet. I think that is all the combat we're going to be doing. Start everything out of the way. Because on the city board, we're just holding back, as I mentioned before, bulking up defences rather than pushing ourselves forward. So I think that is it. I may have got something I've missed, but I think it's just flying the planes home now and moving to the end of the round, checking for victory, which we won't be at. So I think that will do. That would be it for turn number 3 and video number 2 in this series. I will see you in video number 3 and turns number 4, probably 5 as well. I mean, might even get in number 6 if we start cutting and shutting a little bit. Till next time, be cool.